Now on 4 News Now, police fired off several munitions during Wednesday's protest, how police make the call to use non-lethal tactics, and what escalates a protest into a riot.
And as we start our last week of spring, we started the week with extreme heat, but next week we're going to see cooler temperatures. I'll get you prepared in my first alert weather forecast.
Plus, we'll hear from a sponsor of the men detained by ICE Wednesday and tell you when she thinks she'll get to see them again. You're watching 4 News Now Special Edition.
At least one of the migrants arrested in Spokane this week was part of a guardianship program meant to assist people in legally immigrating to the U.S.
But despite that, people in the program were still targeted in recent ICE raids, ultimately leading to a protest in front of the ICE office in Spokane, where organizer Ben Stuckert sat in front of a bus in defiance of the decision. Our Alexandra Cohen-Yards joins us from where it all started.
Yeah, Alexandra, you spoke to a woman who was going to sponsor one of these two men. Did she tell you what's next for them?
Kirsten, at this point, she tells me that they do not know exactly what is next for them, but they do know that they now have legal representation. Now, just to give a refresher, those two young men were, along with others, arrested here outside of the ICE office on West Cataldo in Spokane. Now, the woman I spoke with, Shelly O'Quinn, tells me that these two young men that she knew were just coming here for a routine checkup, but things quickly took a turn.
I have the mom feeling, which is why you're talking to me in the car, and I'm on my way down to see them.
Shelly O'Quinn is a former Republican city leader. She first met Cesar Alexander Alvarez Perez and Josuar Slater Rodriguez Torres in September. In less than a year, they have become like family. Today, I spoke with her over Zoom while on her way to the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma.
The mom side of me is sad, and honestly wanting to take care of them and just let them know that everything's okay.
The picture on your screen shows Josuar, who goes by Randy, on the right, and Cesar on the left. They both came to the U.S. through the humanitarian parole program. The Department of Homeland Security says more than 500,000 people came into the country through this program. It was recently terminated by the Trump administration.
These are two young men that came into the United States legally, and they've done everything that we have asked of those who immigrate to the United States to do.
Large crowds flooded the streets on Wednesday trying to stop agents from taking these young men away, sitting in front of a bus for hours, interlocking arms, making their voices heard. For O'Quinn, seeing Randy and Cesar, who she says were following the rules, be taken away was aggravating. However, she has not lost hope for the future.
It wasn't Spokane that kicked them out. It was ICE agents that took them, but it wasn't Spokane.
Now, legal aid groups in Spokane that help immigrants in our community say many are scared to come here for their regular check-ins because they're scared of getting arrested, just like several people were on Wednesday night. Now, I did reach out to ICE for this, and I have not heard back yet in real time. For now, reporting live, Alexandra Cohen-Yards, sending it back to you.
Alexandra, thank you. Let's get to our first alert forecast now. Should we start planning for a sunny, cool Father's Day weekend?
Jason Valentine is in for Chris Crocker and joins us in studio with what we hope is good news.
Well, it depends on how you define cooler, because remember Monday was 96 degrees. So
right.
we're going to be cooler than that, but pretty darn nice. Good Friday evening. Welcome to the weekend, everyone. Welcome to Father's Day weekend. Let's all remember Dad on Sunday. Hope you've had a wonderful Friday so far. Look at this, just another beautiful day. And we were talking a lot about smoke yesterday, but we're starting to see a little bit of wind taking it out of our region. So much of the fires are down in the Tri-Cities and the northern part of Oregon. So the winds have been moving it out. So we have no air quality issues on the map right now. That is definitely good news. And here's where the area smoke has moved. It has just moved a little bit to the east. Still, our friends in the Tri-Cities, Dallas area, still dealing with quite a bit of smoke. So we're just at the start of the wildfire season. So hopefully it dies down as we move on into the next couple of days. So here's our smoke forecast, and we are seeing again that plume coming out of the Dalles into our evening hours, and it's going to try to funnel its way back into the Pullman area just to the south of Spokane, maybe creeping in as we get to tomorrow morning. So of course we're going to keep a close eye on that. So far, our evening planner for your Friday evening, it is going to be glorious. Hopefully you're heading out, having some fun. Going to be seeing some sunshine. Then as we get to sundown, mostly clear skies and just a beautiful Saturday morning. Folks, let me get you ready for your Father's Day weekend. My first alert weather forecast coming up.
All right, Jason, thank you. Police fired off several munitions on Wednesday as hundreds gathered to protest ICE deportations in Spokane.
Police used non-lethal force, deploying smoke, firing off bean bags and foam batons as the crowds grew in size and became unruly. In this clip from Wednesday, you can see when police used smoke to try and move protesters back. You can also see people wiping their eyes from that smoke and the pepper balls that were deployed. Jordan Smith met with the chief of police today to ask about the use of force in these situations. And Jordan, these are judgment calls made by individual officers.
Yeah, exactly right. A lot of the time, it's not orders coming from an agency or another. A lot of the times, this is a judgment call from an officer who's right there at the protests. And they tell me they usually only do that when they feel some people in the crowd begin displaying what they called as, quote, assaultive behavior towards the officers.
In the aftermath of the large protests unfolding Wednesday, questions have surfaced about how police arrive at the decision to use less than lethal force, especially at protests that remain mostly peaceful, as they did on Wednesday.
When it comes to individual officers using a force of any kind to protect themselves or others, that's going to be completely on the individual officer.
Police Chief Kevin Hall says that usually happens when police perceive members of the crowd to take part in what he calls assaultive behavior. Hall tells me that both the sheriff's office and Spokane police deployed less than lethal projectiles like beanbags and this foam baton our Mary Sheridan found while reporting on the protests. When an officer makes the decision to fire munition like this, they're automatically investigated to determine if force was necessary.
It appears to me, at least from the Spokane Police Department side, all of those uses of force were justified.
Though Chief Hall says those investigations are nowhere near complete. Tear gas was not used during Wednesday's protests. SPD's use of force policy states that can only be deployed in the event of a riot, which is how Commissioner Josh Kearns described Wednesday's events. Police Chief Hall disagrees.
I would not consider what we had over there the other night a riot. The vast majority of that crowd were peaceful, but there was a component who were not.
And as tens of thousands of people converge on downtown this weekend with pride and several protests planned, police say that they're encouraging people to use their First Amendment rights. They just ask that you do it peacefully and that you listen to the directions of the officers at the scene. We'll be there all weekend long, and we'll have the latest updates as those protests and as Pride are underway. For now, reporting live outside of right outside the courthouse, Jordan Smith, 4 News Now. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Jordan, thanks so much. It's that time of year again, cone season.
Here's another road closure that could impact your commute. Upriver Drive is closed from Green Street and Ralph Street. Crews are installing a pedestrian bridge over the Spokane River. The closure is expected to last through Monday, June 23rd, and a detour is set up for drivers using Euclid Avenue to the north or Mission to the south.
And check this out. The reason for that closure is the North Spokane corridor met a major milestone today with this massive truss installed this morning over the Spokane River just north of Spokane Community College. Getting that 300,000-pound steel truss into place puts the Children of the Sun pedestrian bridge one step closer to being finished. It's really cool to see all that heavy machinery getting that job done.
Well, much more straight ahead here on this special edition of 4 News Now.
A major development in the Middle East with Israel striking key targets in Iran. We'll show you what was hit and what that could mean for the conflict in the region moving forward.
And the latest on immigration protests in California, why a judge is going against the president's decision to deploy military to that protest.
And the potential impact some of those tariffs could have, but we potentially haven't seen just yet. That's up next.
Connect with 4 News Now on KXLY+. 4 News Now weather is brought to you by Coeur d'Alene Casino Resort Hotel.
Rain or shine, day or night, good weather always reigns at the Coeur d'Alene Casino. No matter the weather, winning is better. Your 7-day forecast calls for fun at the Coeur d'Alene Casino.
Coeur d'Alene Casino, winning is just the beginning.
At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
is a lifetime earned. Numerica Credit Union. Money where it matters.
What's for lunch this summer? For kids who rely on school meal programs, the answer is not enough. Donate to the What's for Lunch food drive at Yolks locations throughout June to make sure all our kids get enough to eat this summer.
Summer means the great outdoors, but it's also wildfire season. How are you going to cope with smoke from wildfires? 1. When it's smoky, check current air quality. 2. Limit or avoid time outdoors. And 3. Keep indoor air as clean as possible. Replace home air filters as often as needed and use the best filter for your system. Set the air conditioner to the recirculate mode. If necessary, find a cleaner air shelter near you. For the latest information about wildfires and smoke, visit the Washington Smoke blog, wasmoke.blogspot.com.
If you've been waiting for the perfect time to get great deals on Toyota Tundra or Tacoma trucks, then you're going to love the offers we're rolling out now at Findlay Downtown Toyota. Take advantage of the most aggressive prices of the year with bigger than normal trade-in values. And this week, with any new Tundra or Tacoma truck purchase, Findlay will give you a $1,000 gas card or up to $1,000 off new accessories, making it the perfect time to get that new truck you've been wanting from Findlay.
Marine combat boots are hitting the streets of Los Angeles for the first time today.
It's part of the military might President Trump has called up after a protest against federal immigration raids. ABC's Alex Stone has the story.
Tonight, the first 200 of 700 U.S. Marines hitting the streets of Los Angeles, joining the 4,100 National Guard troops called up by President Trump. Last night, a U.S. district judge ruling President Trump illegally deployed those National Guard troops. In a scathing opinion, Judge Charles Breyer saying the protest falls short of the legal requirement of a rebellion to justify a federal deployment. The judge ordering Trump to return command of the Guardsmen to California Governor Gavin Newsom by noon today, saying the citizens of Los Angeles face a greater harm from the continued unlawful militarization of their city.
Clearly, there's no invasion, there's no rebellion. It's absurd.
But then only a few hours later, a federal appeals court putting that order on hold after a late-night appeal from the Trump administration, ruling President Trump can keep the California National Guard deployed for now. The presence of these troops and immigration raids sparking protests in downtown L.A. and across the country.
People united will never be divided.
Protesters in Nashville, where Kilmar Abrego Garcia finally got his day in court to answer the Trump administration's charges against him. He's a man wrongfully deported from Maryland to a notorious El Salvador prison in March. Abrego Garcia pleaded not guilty today to human smuggling charges stemming from a 2022 traffic stop in Tennessee. His wife saw him for the first time yesterday.
Kilmar wants you to have faith. He says to continue fighting, and I will be victorious because God is with us.
In Newark, New Jersey today, the Department of Homeland Security says 4 detainees are on the run after unrest at the detention center. Officials saying the detainees were able to escape through an exterior wall that was not much more than drywall.
This is a perfect example of the shoddiness of this plan. This is a symbol for the brokenness of the Trump administration plan when it comes to immigration.
And back here in L.A., police say they're getting ready for this weekend with expected protests, while a court hearing is scheduled for next week to decide if the president or the governor should control these National Guard troops. Alex Stone, ABC News in downtown L.A.
A consumer alert about rising prices stemming from U.S. tariffs.
A new report finding parents are getting hit hard. A new congressional report warns President Trump's tariffs are driving up prices on many popular baby products, placing an extra burden on parents. The study shows parents are now paying 24% more for 5 common baby items, including strollers, car seats, cribs, high chairs, and baby monitors, many of them made in China. Still, despite the warning on prices, overall inflation showed little change in the last month. The Treasury Secretary saying this to Democrats yesterday.
Many on your side seem disappointed that there is no inflation today. So there has been nothing passed on. There has been no tariff recession.
Some analysts predict the cost of tariffs will become more evident in the coming months pending trade talks with China and other nations.
Well, folks, it's been a sunny and warm week, but how will it look for your Father's Day weekend? Let me get you and your family prepared. My first alert weather forecast, that is next on 4 News Now Special Edition. Stick with us.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
I see it. Hey, I like it. Hey, I want it. Yes, I do. Said I need it.
With Chase, you can get a debit card for your kids' independence.
Yes, I do need you.
And parental notifications, so you can keep an eye on how they're using it. Still on budget. Control for parents, freedom for kids. That's family banking from Chase.
It's the Click It RV Roll Into Summer sales event going on now at your local Click It RV store with huge manufacturers discounts from Forest River, StarCraft, and more. Get $0 down, nothing, and no payments for 6 months, and get top dollar for your trade. And talk about giveaways. Win a StarCraft trailer or $30,000 in cash. You can beat the coming tariffs, but nobody beats a Click It RV deal. We guarantee it. So don't miss the Roll Into Summer sales event at your local Click It RV store. Spokane, Milton, Freewater, Moses Lake, and Union Gap.
Life moves pretty fast. Work, kids, responsibilities. Where do you find time for you? At Move Fitness, we make it easy. For about $1 a day, you can build a routine that fits your busy life. With flexible hours, expert trainers, and a supportive community, getting started is easier than ever. So why wait? Make time for you for about $1 a day and discover what Move can do for you.
Join the movement.
Don't worry, it's just me, it's Chad from the Easy Home Buyer.
Selling your home doesn't have to be scary. At the Easy Home Buyer, we make it simple, fast, and hassle-free, so you can focus on your next chapter.
Did you know that Spokane Hyperbaric Center uses oxygen to reduce pain, inflammation, and swelling?
I didn't know that.
Did you know that hyperbaric oxygen therapy promotes new blood vessel growth, fights infection, and releases more stem cells from your bone marrow?
I didn't know that.
Would you like to know if Spokane Hyperbaric Center is the right choice for you? Go to hyperbarichope.com to find out.
Spokane Hyperbaric Center gave us hope. And now you know.
4 News Now is brought to you by Shriners Children's Hospitals.
All right, welcome back to this special edition of 4 News Now. We saw a little bit of it earlier.
Yeah, the cooler weather starting to feel a little different this week, especially, Jason, when you compare it to the 90s that we started with.
Of course, and a week from today is the first day of summer. And we're going to be below our average temperatures for the first time in 3 weeks, ironically, on the first day of summer. So enjoy these warm temperatures while we can, because it looks like it's going to get cooler after that. Let's take a look outside. What a beautiful Friday we have. Warmer in Coeur d'Alene, 77 right now in the Spokane region. We're at 73, but it's just a resplendent day, and we have more in store for your weekend. So just get ready for some very nice conditions. So happy Father's Day weekend. Average, above average temperatures for now, but we are looking at those cooler temperatures on the way. We do have breezy conditions at times, kind of like we saw today. We saw us get a little bit into the 20-mile-per-hour gust zone. So we're going to see that off and on, but nothing really sustained, and no rain just yet. So here's our high temperature trend as we get into tomorrow. Spirit is 76, up to 83 by Monday. That's going to be our warmest day, about 10 degrees above our average. That's the white line there. But as we get to Friday, so far we're looking at 70 degrees for the first day, the summer solstice. It's going to happen in the early evening of Friday, a week from today. So just get ready for cooler temperatures, and those cooler temperatures are going to take grip the week after the summer solstice. So we're going to be looking at highs in the lower 70s, and we could even be seeing some upper 60s. So we've had 3 weeks of above average temperatures after 3 weeks of well below average temperatures. So we'll see how long this trend continues into our next work week. So our radar, we're looking pretty free and clear, but we do have a little bit of shower activity in the south. Could be coming up into Pendleton and the Tri-Cities area. We have a chance of seeing that come into our region. So here's, you look at the timestamp up top. It is going to be most likely just to the east of our areas, but if this moves just a little bit to the northwest, we could see a little bit of that shower activity. Tomorrow morning, you're going to be looking at a beautiful morning, so more sunshine, maybe a little bit of cloud coverage in the early afternoon, but for your Sunday, for Father's Day, if you're heading out golfing, it's going to be plenty of sunshine. Don't forget your sunscreen. So we're hoping to get a little bit of moisture into our area as we get into that week where we're going to be expecting those cooler than average temperatures after next Friday. We do have a chance of seeing some shower activity coming in. We could really use it. We had a dry spring and we've been dry for quite a few weeks. So hopefully we do get some shower activity. So current temperatures 77 Coeur d'Alene, 73 in Spokane. Looks like our hot spot is Lewiston at 82. Just very comfortable conditions throughout our area. We are a little bit cooler than we were yesterday, around 5 degrees, but still lovely conditions out there. And again, winds, not what we saw yesterday. We saw gusts in the mid-20s. We're seeing a little bit of gusts, Moses Lake and Spokane. So we're going to see very similar conditions tomorrow. So that 7-day forecast, 76 tomorrow. Father's Day, you're looking at 79, and then just beautiful conditions. Looks very nice for our next work week. Just get ready for those cooler temperatures as we hit summer next Friday. But folks, your happy Father's Day. Your Father's Day weekend is going to be very nice.
Looks pretty good, Jason. Thank you. Still plenty to cover on this special edition of 4 News Now.
A deadly plane crash in India this week left more than 200 people dead. Hear from the sole survivor of that crash and how officials are hoping to better understand what caused it. Coming up.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
I was in foot pain for 20 years. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. When I drove past the Good Feet store, I thought, I'm gonna stop in. What can it hurt? They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support for my feet, not somebody else's feet. And you just knew, like your feet just, when they got on the right ones, they were like, oh yeah. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
If your windows, entry door, or patio doors haven't been checked in years, they could be costing you. Schedule a complimentary consultation from Renewal by Andersen. We'll take a look at your current windows and doors and check for drafts. We can also use a heat lamp test to identify exactly where energy might be escaping. You'll get thoughtful recommendations, and you can even preview new styles right in your space. Schedule a complimentary consultation with us today.
What's for lunch this summer? For kids who rely on school meal programs, the answer is not enough. Donate to the What's for Lunch food drive at Yolks locations throughout June to make sure all our kids get enough to eat this summer.
How young is too young to talk money with your kids? This Money Saving Monday, from piggy banks to debit cards, Derek Dice shows you how to start the conversation and set your kids up for a lifetime of smart spending. That's Monday on Good Morning Northwest.
If your bath has seen a lot of life, nobody gives it new life like Bath Fitter. Whatever shape your bath is in, Bath Fitter will transform it with an amazing number of styles and watertight walls that are grout-free and easy to clean. With 40 years of experience, Bath Fitter knows what people want. An affordable remodel that isn't just beautiful, it's guaranteed for life. When it's time to give your bath new life, it just fits. Go to bathfitter.com to book your free consultation.
At Denver Mattress, we believe improving your sleep life should be easy and affordable. And during summer savings, the deals are really starting to heat up. Check out the budget-friendly Summit Queen, easy on the wallet for only $299.99. Take $75 off any Buena Vista. Plus, score a $300 gift when you purchase any Tempur-Pedic. Or make your cash go further with 48 months no-interest financing and free shipping. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right mattress.
4 News Now is brought to you by Fairway Floor.
Welcome back. President Trump met today with his National Security Council in the Situation Room hours after Israel launched what it calls a preemptive attack on nuclear targets in Iran.
Iran confirms those killed include top military leaders and nuclear scientists. The U.S. saying it did not play a role in the military attack, but it did provide intelligence. As ABC's Christian Cordero reports from D.C., concern is growing that Iran's retaliation may tip the region into an all-out war.
Today, the Middle East is at the edge of an all-out war after Israel pierced through Iran's nuclear program with waves of airstrikes overnight. Video circulating online shows the attack lighting up the night sky in Tehran, targeting military sites and leaders, setting several residential buildings on fire.
This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat.
Iran confirms among those killed in the attack the top general of its Revolutionary Guard and several top nuclear scientists. It's unclear how many civilians were also killed. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says Israel had no choice but to act, calling Iran's nuclear program a clear and present danger.
Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey.
The Trump administration immediately said the U.S. had no involvement in the attack. A U.S. source familiar with intel on the strike today told ABC News while the U.S. didn't provide a military role, it did provide, quote, exquisite intelligence. President Trump, who for months had been trying to strike a nuclear deal with Iran, warned Netanyahu an attack would derail talks. Overnight, the president changing course, telling ABC News the attack on Iran was, quote, excellent, adding they got hit about as hard as you're going to get hit, and there's more to come. Israel says Iran launched 100 drones towards it in retaliation, but all were shot down. Israel now under a state of emergency, and the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem is directing all government employees and their families to shelter in place as the region braces for Iran's next response.
Iran certainly sees the United States as part of the problem and may be angry and under a lot of political pressure at home to respond.
The administration had another round of nuclear talks with Iran scheduled for this weekend. It's unclear how that will move forward, if at all. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Israel's attack on Iran has introduced significant volatility into the oil market. At one point Thursday, prices in the U.S. soared 13% per barrel. That price has fallen for now, but it's still up 5%. The spike is based on fears a wider conflict in the Middle East could disrupt oil supplies. Analysts say if Iran pulls out of the global market, oil prices could jump by about $7.50 per barrel. That's more than 10% the current trading price. It could be problematic for President Donald Trump, whose political campaign focused on both lower gas prices and unwavering support for Israel.
The black boxes from the Air India passenger plane crash were recovered today. The official death toll now stands at 246. 241 passengers and crew on the Boeing jet, 5 people on the ground.
And for the first time today, we're hearing the amazing story from the plane's sole survivor. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman is on the scene for us in India.
Today, in Ahmedabad, India, aviation investigators have retrieved the black box from the largely intact tail section of that doomed Air India Boeing 787 Dreamliner. One of the boxes is damaged, but officials think they can still retrieve its information. And we're getting new information today from the sole survivor of the crash. Astonishingly, that's Ramesh Vishwash Kumar, seen here walking away from the crash site, now telling us about the crash from his hospital bed. He says, everything happened in front of my eyes. I don't believe how I survived. For some time, I thought I was going to die. But when I opened my eyes, I realized I was alive, and I tried to unbuckle myself from the seat and escape from where I could. Stunning video shows the jet taking off, reaching about 600 feet, but then clearly struggling to gain altitude. Ramesh remembers that moment. After the takeoff, within a minute, it felt like the plane came to a standstill for 5 to 10 seconds. I could feel engine thrust increasing to go up, but it crashed with speed. Erupting in a fireball, the plane hitting medical school buildings, one a dormitory. That's where Ramesh says he landed, still buckled into seat 11A, right next to an emergency exit door. The side of the plane I was, it landed on the ground floor of the hostel. I could see that there was space outside the aircraft, so when my door broke, I tried to escape through a little space, and I did. On the opposite was the building wall, so nobody could have escaped. Aviation experts are raising concerns about the engines after seeing the nose of the plane pointed up in the moments before the crash. They point to an issue of thrust. Other experts point to the position of the wing flaps and the fact the landing gear was still down.
Ramesh's brother, who was also on the plane, is among the missing. Ramesh is being treated for bruises and burns. James Longman, ABC News, Ahmedabad, India.
Wow. All right, after the break on this special edition of 4 News Now.
Yesterday, we showed you a man living with ALS who was able to speak again.
Tonight, we'll show you another who does an entire podcast with his son using technology to speak.
And the horrifying story of a girl who nearly had her arm bitten off by a shark. How she's recovered since that attack.
And the future of camping ordinances after a state law overruled one that would have put restrictions on camping around Spokane.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Are you in need of an update? Panhandle Carpet One is more than just flooring. We've launched our brand new Cabinet Design Center and remodel showroom. From custom cabinetry and stunning flooring options, our experts bring your dream space to life. Hardwood, luxury vinyl, carpet, laminate, tile, window treatments, and cabinets. Panhandle Carpet One Floor and Home. Now your destination for floors, cabinets, and complete home style. Visit us on West Appleway or start designing at panhandlecarpet1coeur d'Alene.com.
Wildfire season is here and we may be affected by smoke. Protect your health by being prepared. 1. Check current air quality and fire activity online and plan accordingly. 2. When it's smoky, limit or avoid time outdoors. And 3. Keep indoor air as clean as possible. Replace home air filters more often and set the air conditioner to the recirculate mode. For the latest information about wildfires and air quality, visit the Washington Smoke blog, wasmoke.blogspot.com.
The swimsuit season has arrived, and that means extra time in the gym to look good this summer at Move Fitness. From squats and lunges for the booty to curls for the girls, Move Fitness has the classes and machines to make this summer your best. And you can get it all for about $1 a day. Move Fitness.
At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
A penny saved is a lifetime earned. Numerica Credit Union. Money where it matters.
Let's check in with meteorologist Matt Gray.
A lot of folks, they head out the door in the morning and they're not coming back until late in the evenings. They got their whole day to get ready for the entire day and whatever the weather's going to throw at them. I hope for people that choose to watch my forecast on Good Morning Northwest is as you're making your plans for the day, you know what's coming up for your day and how to plan it. You learn a little something and that you have a little bit of fun on the way.
Plan your day with Matt Gray, only on Good Morning Northwest.
Well, the Spokane City Council is at odds over a new ordinance meant to take the place of Proposition 1 after it was overturned.
The new ordinance would create a 7-day maximum for camping on city streets before police could issue a citation. Derek Strom spoke to council members on both sides of this ordinance.
I think that this amendment is everything in Proposition 1 and more.
The Spokane City Council will vote next week on an amendment to a number of ordinances for unauthorized camping on public property. The amendment is sponsored by Councilman Zach Sapone, who believes it could overhaul what he calls a set of patchwork ordinances that aren't effective.
Obstruction and unauthorized ordinance actually prohibits camping citywide on all city properties at all times of day. Currently, we have a patchwork of ordinances that prohibit unauthorized camping at certain times of day, at certain places.
But council members Jonathan Bingle and Michael Cathcart don't believe the amendment will effectively replace Prop 1. The proposition was approved by voters, then overturned by the state Supreme Court, leaving the city council to come up with its own replacement. Bingle says the 7-day maximum before issuing a citation for unlawful camping is too long.
7 days is a long time. Why don't we say up to 3, something like that? 7 is just going to be too long. And I didn't think that was a crazy request. Our current code is less than that, and so it still gave them a little extra time.
Councilmember Zappone says law enforcement would still be able to step in before that 7-day maximum if there's drug use or other illegal activity going on in camps. Councilmember Bingle still doesn't believe it would be as effective as Proposition 1.
I mean, up to 7 days certainly gives us the opportunity to do it faster than 7 days. But again, based on past history, I think, gives an indication of future performance. And I'm not confident it's going to happen before 7 days.
The City Council will vote on the amendment Monday. In Spokane, Derek Strom, 4 News Now.
All right, let's check back in with Jason Valentine for your first alert forecast.
It seems like this could be a pretty great Father's Day golfing weekend, Derek.
Paddleboarding, maybe too.
I think so, and I'm glad it's not going to be mid-90s. Let's just say that. It's going to be a little cooler, but still take your sunscreen. And good Friday, everyone. And let's take a quick look outside. Ooh, it is gorgeous. Hope you've had a wonderful week and a wonderful day, and hope you have a wonderful weekend planned. So yesterday we talked a lot about the smoke, but air quality issues have gone out of the region. That is because we've seen all this wind from the west going more or less a little bit to the east, or maybe even a little bit to the northeast. But all of our fires that we're dealing with are to the south, and there is still smoke in the region. It still is light, but Tri-Cities has still quite a few fires going on in their vicinity. Down at the Dalles in Oregon also dealing with some fires. So taking a look at what we can expect from the smoke, we're going to be seeing that plume from the Dalles, and that is really the big one. Going to continue to move up a little bit to the north, so Pullman and even the Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area could see some of that smoke affect them tomorrow morning. So just keep an eye out for that. Of course, we'll update you. So for your evening planner, I hope you have great plans for your Friday. It is going to be hot and beautiful, plenty of sunshine, and overnight we're going to be looking at mostly clear skies. Looking at a nice morning also for your Saturday. So let me get you ready for your Father's Day weekend. Also, we're a week away from summer with cooler temperatures. That's coming up in my first alert weather forecast.
All right, Jason, thanks. The incredible story of a young girl who's now recovering after being bitten by a shark while snorkeling off the coast of Florida. New body cam footage shows police coming to help her. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the story.
That's my daughter.
Okay. Well, she's a very brave kid.
This morning, new body camera footage showing the moment officers arrived on the scene to treat 9-year-old Leah Lindell after she was bitten by a shark while snorkeling in the waters off of Boca Grande, Florida on Wednesday. The officer heard telling Leah how brave she is as they prepared to airlift her to Tampa for treatment.
You're being very brave.
Leah's family says she was snorkeling just 4 feet away from her mom and younger siblings in shallow water when she came up screaming.
She flies out and I look over because I don't know if I heard a yell or what, but she went like that. And I could see her hand hanging.
Okay.
Like a piece and just blood everywhere.
Okay.
Leah's right hand badly bitten. Her mother Nadia distraught while talking to police.
And I just started screaming. I started screaming to my husband to hurry up and get out because I had so many babies.
Right.
And I don't know who to grab.
Good Samaritans immediately jumping in to help, telling the officer what they saw.
They were like, help, help, help. So we jump out of the water. We jump out of the shirt. He jumped on the water to take the shark out of his hands.
Yeah.
So he blinked, take him out of the water. It was like 4 or 5 kids, so we got to bring everybody out of the water.
Right.
Then they called 911.
In American Service, SAP.
Okay, hang on just a second. I'm sorry, there's what?
A shark.
There's a shark in the water. Okay, all right.
Yes, the shark beat the arm for the little kid.
Leah's mother thankful her daughter survived.
To go.
I'm just happy
But
she's alive.
oh yeah, me too. And she seems very strong. She's holding herself together very well.
Her mom sharing this update on Instagram, showing Leah in her hospital bed, praising God and the doctors, writing, Leah had a very long surgery to save her hand, and doctors were able to get blood flow to her entire hand and all of her fingers. And the rescuers who jumped in to help say that shark appeared to be about 8 feet long. Leah's family telling us she has another procedure set for today. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Rockaway Beach, New York.
Wow. Well, still ahead here on this special edition of 4 News Now.
An unbelievable story out of Colorado. An 8-year-old girl who likely saved her father's life by calling 911. Hear the audio from that call and why the young girl knew she needed to act.
Plus, a push from medical experts urging insurers to cover the COVID vaccine for pregnant women. Their plea coming up.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
If your windows, entry door,
or patio doors haven't been checked in years, they could be costing you, especially as the weather warms up. Schedule a complimentary consultation from Renewal by Andersen. It's a simple and informative visit that gives you real insight. We'll take a look at your current windows and doors, assess the glass and frame condition, and check for drafts. We can also use a heat lamp test to identify exactly where energy might be escaping. You'll get thoughtful recommendations from our experts based on your needs, goals, and budget. And with our virtual design tool, you can even preview new styles right in your space. Improve your home's comfort, boost efficiency, and refresh your curb appeal. It starts with a simple and free visit from Renewal by Andersen. Right now, we're offering amazing financing options for every budget. Schedule a complimentary consultation with us today.
Expect even more from KXLY Plus. Live updates from the 4 News Now team. Breaking news as it happens. Weather every 10 minutes. Stay connected for free with 4 News Now on KXLY Plus. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
A penny saved is a lifetime earned. Numerica Credit Union. Money where it matters.
What's for lunch this summer? For kids who rely on school meal programs, the answer is not enough. Donate to the What's for Lunch food drive at Yolks locations throughout June to make sure all our kids get enough to eat this summer.
News Now is brought to you by BECU and the Scale House Market.
In News for Your Health now, dozens of health groups are urging health insurers to continue to cover the COVID vaccine for pregnant women. A total of 30 health and medical organizations signed an open letter to insurers on Wednesday. It comes after federal health officials removed COVID shots from the list of vaccines the CDC recommends for pregnant women. The letter stated studies have shown pregnant women who have COVID-19 are more likely to become severely ill or experience complications like preeclampsia. As a result, the organizations say insurers should continue to provide access to the vaccines for pregnant women and at no cost. The vaccine has been shown to be safe and effective during pregnancy.
Something happened to my dad.
Okay.
Well, this is going to be an extra special Father's Day for a man in Centennial, Colorado.
And it's all thanks to his 8-year-old daughter. Adriana Wales may have saved the life of her dad, John, earlier this month when she used Siri to call 911. She made the call after her father, who has brain cancer, was unresponsive after a seizure. Dispatchers say Adriana was calm on the phone as she gave them her address and other critical information.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
So, hello, this is Adriana, and something has happened to my dad, and I don't know what's happening. He's just shaking. And
what's the address? What's the address? How old are you?
I'm 8 years old.
Are you home alone by your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on with Dad right now?
I don't know. He has brain cancer, and he just started shaking for some reason.
Okay.
And I got really, really worried.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing. You're calling the right number. I'm going to bring on the paramedics. They're going to ask you for your address again. Don't hang up, okay?
First responders got to the home and then brought her father to the hospital where he was treated and released later that day. Adriana says her mother, who was not at home at the time, taught her how to respond during a medical emergency.
A lesson for us all to have that conversation with kids.
Definitely.
Really early. Another great story ahead of Father's Day.
Yeah, this one about a father and son using a microphone to leave a lasting legacy. ABC's Danny New has the story.
First of all, this is my voice. I'm Tim Green.
In honor of Father's Day this weekend, we are checking in with a best-selling author and former NFL star who has spent the last year bonding with his son in front of a microphone.
I don't want you to feel sorry for me because I don't feel sorry for me.
Tim Green, who was diagnosed with ALS in 2016, has teamed up with his son Troy to host a podcast together called Nothing Left Unsaid.
Him and I have been best friends since I was probably 4 or 5 years old.
As you can see from these behind-the-scenes pictures of our interview, Tim has a special camera that can read his eye movements on the tablet below to spell out words. But to make things easier, I sent my questions ahead of time.
How meaningful has this been to host this podcast with your son?
It became a way for us to share honest conversations, laugh together, and talk about life.
Now, Tim might not be able to move many of his muscles, but he can still laugh quite a bit. In fact, when basketball legend Charles Barkley came on,
and I hear my grandmother say, "Charles, bring your back here."
Tim laughed so hard, Troy said they had to pause the recording to wipe the tears from his eyes so his camera could still track his movements.
This is an honor.
They also welcomed broadcaster Joe Buck, whose first network broadcasting partner was Tim Green. Troy said he got to hear stories about his father he never knew.
They were more in awe of the volume of food that your dad could consume.
Sounds right.
And while, of course, Troy says it has been tough to see the disease take away so much, he is still quite grateful to have access to his father's mind and spend this time together.
There is a way to live a very, very meaningful life.
One thing I didn't get to mention is that together the Green family has helped raise more than $10 million for ALS research, which you can contribute to at tackleals.com. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
What a wonderful story. All right, folks, we've had a wonderful Friday, but how does your weekend look, especially on Sunday for Dad? I'll get you ready. My first alert weather forecast. That is next on 4 News Now, Special Edition. Stick with us.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
If you want to shine this summer and say goodbye to that winter weight, then this is the perfect time to join Move Fitness for almost $1 a day to get your body sculpted for the swimsuit season.
You're building a home or updating an existing one. You want windows and patio doors to be strong, beautiful, long-lasting, and durable. Want to express creativity and increase your home's curb appeal? To feel secure in your investment, choose Milgard Windows and Patio Doors from River City Glass, industry leaders with the highest quality materials and windows that are backed by a lifetime warranty. Residential and commercial, Milgard Windows and Patio Doors. Call River City Glass or visit their showroom at 6615 East Main.
I'm Chad Young from theeasyhomebuyer.com, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene's easiest way to sell your house fast. If you have a few moments, I hope you'll give me the opportunity to make you an instant cash offer on your home. With theeasyhomebuyer.com, we will buy your house in as-is condition with no repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. To get your no-obligation cash offer, give us a call or visit us online at theeasyhomebuyer.com.
Pick up the phone to inquire. Call the Easy Home Buyer.
I wake up every day and I'm immediately reminded that this is happening.
It's not a dream.
It's not a dream.
Eric Dane, loved by millions as Dr. McSteamy on Grey's Anatomy and in Euphoria. Still charismatic, still fighting. Now, his first television interview since receiving a crushing diagnosis of ALS.
I don't think this is the end of my story. I don't feel like this is the end of me.
The Diane Sawyer interview.
Who was your first call?
Good Morning America, Monday.
This summer, escape to where music meets the mountains in Sandpoint, Idaho. July 24th through August 3rd, the festival at Sandpoint presents Sierra Farrell, Brothers Osborne, Third Eye Blind, Kansas, Dispatch, and more. Whether you're dancing under the stars or exploring Sandpoint's lake, hiking, and local charm, this is summer at its best. Get your tickets now at festival@sandpoint.com.
If you want to shine this summer and say goodbye to that winter weight, then this is the perfect time to join Move Fitness for almost $1 a day to get your body sculpted for the swimsuit season.
4 News Now is brought to you by Kerner Furniture.
All right, Jason Valentine's here to talk about the Father's Day weekend. A lot of people have plans.
A lot of people do have plans. I love being here when it's a nice weekend, so I don't get blamed. When I fill in for Chris, sometimes you get blamed.
Oh, that Jason.
That Jason, I hate it when he's here. Well, you can love it when I'm here this time. Let's take a look outside. Beautiful conditions throughout our areas, and we're going to see a beautiful weekend ahead, even a little bit of warmer conditions. Now, if you don't remember, I'm sure you do, we started the week off 95, 96 degrees. We're down about 18 to 20 degrees, but still we're just above our average for this time of year, so lovely conditions continuing. So happy Father's Day weekend. Of course, the big day is Sunday. Above average temperatures for now, but we do see some cooler temperatures on the way. Breezy weekend at times, just like we've seen the past couple of days. No rain just yet. We are hopeful, though, in not this week, but the week after that, we'll see some shower activity. So tomorrow for your Saturday, Spirit of 76, then we'll just build all the way up to 83 by Monday. So a little bit of warming. Then we're going to be cooling down, and by the time we get to the first day of summer, we could be below our average for the first time in 3 weeks. And if you remember, 3 weeks ago when we started this heat wave, we had been dealing with 3 weeks of well below our average. So kind of all over the place in the last month and a half of spring. Looking like we're going to start off summer with some cooler temperatures, and that'll continue into the week following next Friday. We're going to be looking pretty much all through the area cooler than average temperatures. So that means we'll be seeing lower 70s, even some upper 60s mixed in there. So get ready for a bit of cooler temperatures on the way. So on our radar, we're looking at pretty much clear conditions for our regions, but we do have some shower activity just to the south, and a little bit of electricity is in there just to the west of La Grande. As we move into our evening hours, it is looking like it's going to miss us, but if this just moves a little bit to the west, Spokane, Coeur d'Alene could see a little bit of shower activity, but most likely it's going to be a little bit off to the east. And besides that, tomorrow morning looking absolutely beautiful. Then for your Saturday day and your Sunday, absolutely beautiful conditions ahead. So 10-day moisture, we are hoping for a little bit of shower activity. We are just a little bit in the wet, so hopefully we see some shower activity. Looks like best chance not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. So we'll, of course, keep a close eye on that. So mostly in the 70s. The cold spot right now, Spokane and Pullman at 73, 82 in Lewiston. The temperature change around 5 degrees or a little less, a little more from yesterday. We should be pretty much on par tomorrow. Then we're going to start to warm up a bit Sunday. So winds, we're seeing a little bit of gusts throughout our areas. And again, this is what we expect for the next couple of days. Average winds right around 10 miles per hour and gusts at times in the upper teens to lower 20s. 7-day forecast, 76 tomorrow. For your Saturday, 79 for Dad, looking nice. And look at this week ahead. Even though we are a little bit cooler than we've been used to, it is going to be a beautiful week, and just get ready for summer as we hit Friday next week. My goodness, 2025 is moving along quickly, but a beautiful week is ahead.
All right, Jason, thank you. Coming up in tonight's Air for Adventure, we're showing you breathtaking sights from Idaho's Silver Valley. The area known for the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes offers amazing views and plenty to explore. Tune into our primetime newscast after the NBA Finals to see the full Air for Adventure.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
Saved is a lifetime earned. Numerica Credit Union. Money where it matters.
For 30 years, Renewal by Andersen has replaced worn-out and difficult-to-use windows and doors. Our focus on quality and performance has helped us install over 10 million windows. Every window and door custom-built with our exclusive Vibrex material and backed by the nation's best warranty. Renewal by Andersen is your best choice for window and door replacements. Call now for big savings during our 30th anniversary sales event. It's our biggest event of the year with exclusive savings on our most energy-efficient windows and doors. Hurry, offer ends soon. Renewal by Andersen. 30 years of craft, care, and gratitude.
Don't miss the new season of Collector's Call on MeTV.
There's something that shouts, "This is my childhood and I'm hanging on to it."
A new season of Collector's Call, Sunday at 6:30 on MeTV. Over the air on KXLY 4.2.
What's for lunch this summer? For kids who rely on school meal programs, the answer is not enough. Donate to the What's for Lunch food drive at Yolks locations throughout June to make sure all our kids get enough to eat this summer.
Summer means the great outdoors, but it's also wildfire season. How are you going to cope with smoke from wildfires? 1. When it's smoky, check current air quality. 2. Limit or avoid time outdoors. And 3. Keep indoor air as clean as possible. Replace home air filters as often as needed and use the best filter for your system. Set the air conditioner to the recirculate mode. If necessary, find a cleaner air shelter near you. For the latest information about wildfires and smoke, visit the Washington Smoke blog, wasmoke.blogspot.com.
We have all your SUV options here at Post Falls Volkswagen. Choose the SUV with easy-to-use technology that best meets your needs and budget. There are so many choices, so take as many test drives as you want, and our knowledgeable staff will assist you with all the information you need.
The redesigned 2025 Tiguan just arrived and is turning heads. Smarter, sleeker, and more stylish than anything on the road.
Find SUV options at Post Falls Volkswagen, the home of 0000.
Well, the NBA Finals continue tonight between Oklahoma City and Indiana.
Tip-off coming up at 5:30, and we have sports director Jack Wallace in studio with one last preview tonight.
Now, what a crazy first 3 games. The Pacers lead 2-1 with a chance at home to take that critical 3-1 finals lead, which historically is almost insurmountable, but even more rare as the underdog. Indiana had some major clamps on OKC in Game 3, holding MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to a series-low 24 points, swatting 11 shots, grabbing 13 steals, not to mention forcing 17 turnovers. So who better on Oklahoma City to talk about the strong defense Indiana showed than Alex Caruso, a defensive specialist off the Thunder's bench, who had an offensive outburst in Game 2 before not really managing too much in Game 3.
It takes you out of rhythm. You turn the ball over probably a little more than you should. But yeah, they've done a good job of that. And just getting back to how we've handled that all year, being forceful, getting downhill, setting good screens, winning point of attack stuff.
And after the end of our show and NBA countdown, we resume the finals with a critical Game 4 in Indiana. They've never even won 2 finals games before this season. OKC also only won 1 game in their last finals appearance in 2012. Now, the 2022 Warriors and 2021 Milwaukee Bucks both rallied down 1-2 in their finals before, only 2 to do so since those 2016 3-1 comeback Cavaliers. We'll be back post-game to break down the red-hot action. And Jason, the heat just as intense outside. Is it pretty nice, though?
Oh, my goodness, Jack. It is very nice. And let's take a look at tomorrow, which is going to be as equally as nice. Maybe some golf reservations ready ahead. Highs are going to be just like we're seeing today in the mid-70s. And just add a few degrees to that. Very similar day for your lovely Sunday, which is, of course, Father's Day. So everybody enjoy it.
Yeah, looking pretty good for the weekend.
I mean, mid-70s, and we're just kind of sitting pretty all week. We've had a nice stretch. No complaints.
All right, enjoy Game 4 of the NBA Finals. We'll see you after here for reaction.